Hello everyone, this is your Master Teacher Surabhi Gupta. Welcome to today's session where we will be starting and ending the chapter Human Resources. This is the final chapter of Class 8 Geography, and with this chapter we finish your geography syllabus. Class 8 Geography syllabus will be done. So a huge round of applause to all of us for coming to this point. So guys, welcome to today's session. I hope all of you can see me. Yes. Give me 1 second. Right. Hi, Manaswi. Hello, guys. Hi. Welcome. You know me. I am your social studies educator, Surabhi Gupta. I have done my bachelor's from Lady Shri Ram College, my master's from Jawaharlal Nehru University. And today we will be doing this very interesting chapter. So let's begin. Do not forget to give a thumbs up to this video. Thumbs up का option वही है. Share this video with your friends and do not forget to subscribe to the channel of Young Wonders. Hi Jitendra. Hi Geeta. Hi Devraj. This is my loudest voice. इससे ज़्यादा तेज चाहिए तो एक बहुत amazing technology है about increasing the volume of your laptop. Oh God, my nose. I'm doing good. Thank you, Bozo. So sweet. Hi, Prachi. I'm doing well. So, guys, before we start today's session, how many of you have already done this chapter in your school? Give me a yo in the chat box. If you guys have done this chapter in your school, if you're like, ये तो हो गया है. Are you not fine? I just have a blocked nose. I have a cold, which has not gone for the past, I think it's been 1 week now. So that's why my voice is a little different. Dinner is done. Great. Hi Arohi. तो चलो, let us begin with the chapter Human Resources. So guys, आपका class 8 का geography, if we look at the chapters, the name of the book is Resources. From the start of the chapter till now, we have looked at what are resources, what are natural resources. We looked at different resources like land, soil, natural vegetation, wildlife, etc. Now we are going to be coming to human resources, right? And it's a very interesting, very easy chapter. So without any further delay, let's understand what will we do in this chapter. First, we will look at what is a human resource. How is population distributed around the world? Do we have the same population everywhere? Of course not. So how is it distributed? What is density of population? What are the factors affecting distribution of population? Why is it that in some areas like Bangalore, there's so much population that if I throw a stone from here, it will land on my neighbor's balcony? And why in some areas people are scattered around? We will look at patterns of population change and finally population composition. Okay? So this is what we're going to be looking at today. You've done it great, Ane. ये क्या किया? I ended. Why does this happen to me all the time? I always end the session. Where are you? Chalo. My voice is not reachable, guys. I'm screaming right now. Let me see on my mobile phone. Okay? So this is what we're going to be looking at. So I think it's reachable to me, so it must be reachable to you also. Knowledge, skill and technology are human resources. Answers आने लगे हैं मुझे. Hi Ane, hello Ane. Hi Himangi. चलो. So guys, normally we say that if a country has a lot of population, it would mean that the country will not develop. That used to be once upon a time a belief. Right? However, we have realized lately that people are a nation's greatest resource because it is people with their skill, with their ability that can turn anything in nature into a resource. Without human beings, there is no resources, right? And that is why human resource is the ultimate resource. Now, obviously, all of us are not born as a human resource. It's not like we are born crying and born as a resource, right? It is only when we educate ourselves, like you guys are doing right now on my channel, right? When we skill ourselves, when we become healthy, educated, and motivated, can we be said that we are a resource? Now, human resources are not equally distributed around the world. It's not like everywhere we have equal number of doctors and teachers and human resources. And how are they distributed? We differ in our educational level, our age, our sex. Our numbers and characteristics also keep changing from one country to another. Some countries, for example, if you look at Japan and Bangladesh, both the countries have almost the same population, almost the same size, but Japan is much more developed than Bangladesh because it has a much better human resource, right? Ma'am, in the prehistoric era, humans weren't there, but resources were there. How? Resources are substances that can satisfy human need and has a utility. So how can resource exist in prehistoric times? Iron was there under the earth forever, but to extract iron, then to make different items out of iron is something human beings have done. It is a substance. It becomes into a resource by human beings, right? No, there's a difference between sex and gender, right? Exactly, Aday. Exactly. Hi, Arav. Chalo, let's look at distribution of population. What is distribution of population? How people are spread or distributed around the world is called population distribution. Over 90% of the world's population lives only in about 30% of the land surface. So out of all the land, 90% of the population lives only in this thin strip of 30% of the land surface. Why? Because most of the land that we see is, mountainous regions, rugged topography, desert area, dry area. So obviously, most of the land people cannot live. It is inhabitable, right? Distribution of population is uneven. Some places are very crowded while others are sparsely populated. One of the most crowded areas are South and Southeast Asia, Europe, and Northeast North America. As I said, very few people live in high latitudinal areas, high mountains, areas of equatorial forest. Most people live in the northern hemisphere because northern hemisphere, if you look, we have more land as compared to southern hemisphere, right? 3/4 of the world's population lives on the two continents, Asia and Africa. 60% of the world's population lives in only 10 countries. All of them have more than, one more thing. Now that I know we normally say that China has the biggest population in the world, but you will tell me in the comment section by what year will India surpass China when it comes to population, right? Hi, classy gamer. Chalo, what is density of population? Now, for example, if you look at my hair, I say that I have very thin hair. That means that in my scalp, I don't have a large number of hair. While some people will have a very, very dense hair. That means in the same scalp, they will have more number of hair. Similarly, we talk about population. How many people live in 1 square of 1 kilometer is called density of population, right? So, for example, on an average, you have 51 people that live in a square of 1 kilometer. But if you look at India, this number is as high as 350 people living in a square of 1 kilometer, right? 51 is the average, but when it comes to India, it is almost 350. So you can imagine how dense, how populated, how many people live so close together when it comes to India. South Central Asia has the highest density of population, followed by East and Southeast Asia. Yes, Manaswini. Chalo, now what are the factors affecting the distribution of population? Water, climate, topography, soil, and minerals. Let's understand each of them. Topography. Now guys, obviously, again, this chapter has a lot of things that I don't have to explain. You will immediately get it because it's very logical. Obviously, people like to live in areas that is a plain area rather than a plateau or a mountain, because one, in plain areas the climate is quite well. The land is plain, so you can easily do your construction activities, right? The Ganga Plains is the most densely populated area in the world because it is a plain area. You have Ganga River, land is fertile, agriculture can be done. And these Alps and Himalayas, on the other hand, are sparsely populated. Climate, people do not like to live in areas that is very hot or very cold, like the Sahara Desert or Himalayas or Russia or Canada or Antarctica. Russia ka Siberia wala part, right? People like to live in areas where you have okay climate, which is like okay to live in, right? Then people like to live in areas where the land is very fertile, where the soil is very fertile to do agriculture. So as I said, Ganga Brahmaputra plain in India, Huang He, Changjiang in China, Nile in Egypt are very fertile places where we see that there is very high level of population. Ma'am, in Mumbai, crowded places, it can get up to 500 people in 1 square kilometer. I agree. Kirtana, we'll talk about that later. Okay? Now let's talk about water. Obviously, people do not like to stay in places where there is no water. If there is fresh water, river valleys, you have a large number of people staying in such places. Minerals. Areas with mineral deposits are also very populated. For example, if you look at Dubai, or any Middle East country, all of these countries are actually desert areas where you don't have water, where the climate is very extreme. So technically, if you think about it, very few people should live in this area. However, we see a large population here. Why? Because minerals are found here. Petroleum, oil has been discovered here. So we see that because of the availability of minerals, because people can get rich staying there, we have a huge population, right? Diamond mines of South Africa. These are areas where we find a large population staying. Hi Kusum, if you're new to the class, you know what to do. Thumbs up and subscribe. Guys, सब लोग thumbs up करना मत भूलना guys, वहाँ पर है thumbs up का option, दे देना. ठीक है? चलो. Social, cultural and economic factors. Social factors, sometimes what happens is you will notice that people will shift cities or will shift even countries in search of better housing, education and health facilities. Right? So Pune, for example, Delhi, these are places that has very good health facility, educational facility. So people stay in such places. Then you have cultural reasons. Sometimes religious people will say that no, we are old now, we want to stay in Varanasi, Jerusalem, Vatican City, right? Economic reasons. Now there are some cities or countries in the world where there are a lot of economic opportunities. For example, Bangalore. Large number of people across the country actually are staying in Bangalore, have shifted to Bangalore because here you have a lot of job opportunities. Or Osaka in Japan. Mumbai in India. These are very densely populated areas in the world. Okay? Okay. Does diamond mines contain a lot of diamonds, or is it harder to find there? Diamond mines, it is obviously, first of all, it's not like you go in and diamond har jagah, aisa nahi hai, it is hard. And the process of it is very expensive and laborious. Okay? Now let's understand population change. This is a very interesting part of the chapter to listen carefully. Population change matlab, sorry, my nose is blocked. The change in the number of people during a specific time is called a population change. Population changes happens because of 3 factors. One is birth rate, second is death rate, and the third is migration. Okay, you can get this question in the exam. What are the factors that leads to population change? So there are 3 factors. Birth rate is the number of people who are alive per 1,000 people. So when children are born, for example, lots of children are not able to survive, So how many people are alive per 1,000 people? How many people die? That proportion. So number of birth divided by total 1,000 people, number of death divided by 1,000 people, that is the birth rate and death rate. Okay? So if I say that the death rate is 230, that means that 230 people out of 1,000 people are dying at birth. ठीक है, डेथ रेट, हाँ डेथ रेट आर डाइंग पर 1000 पीपल, राइट। फिर एज के हिसाब से बिटवीन द एज 0 to 10 दिस इज द डेथ रेट, बिटवीन द एज 10 to 50 दिस इज द डेथ रेट, इट कुड डिफर अकॉर्डिंग टू एज, right? Now, what is migration? Obviously, birth rate, death rate will lead to population change. More number of people giving birth will lead to increase in population. More number of people dying will lead to decrease in population. Migration also leads to population change. For example, today if I'm shifting from Delhi to Bangalore, what will happen? That means the population of Delhi has decreased by 1 and the population of Bangalore has increased by 1. Okay, so that also leads to population change. Life expectancy, number of years that an average person lives. Today the life expectancy has gone up to 60 to 70 years. Right? Now there's something called the natural growth rate. The difference between the birth rate and the death rate of any country is the natural growth rate. If the birth rate is equal to death rate, matlab the number of people who are being born is equal to the number of people who are dying, then the population is steady. It will neither increase nor decrease. If the birth rate is higher than the death rate, right? If more people are being born as compared to people dying, then the population will increase. Why does that happen? We will do that also, right? If the birth rate is less than the death rate, right, then that means that there is a decrease in the population. Okay? Guys, I will read your doubts also. Okay? Thoda time do mujhe. Another cause of population change is migration. As I said, sometimes people leave a country. Lots of times we see that people move from developing or less developed countries to more developed countries. Lots of my friends, for example, have moved to Canada because they say that Canada may have a better standard of living. So when you leave India, right, when you are exiting India, you are an immigrant of India. So let us say Sita today is leaving India to go to Canada. So Sita is an immigrant of India, but she is entering Canada. She is incoming into Canada, incoming. So she will be called an immigrant. I say incoming, I say immigrant to Canada. She is an immigrant from India, she's exiting India, right? And she is an incoming to Canada, immigrant to Canada. Okay? So as I said, usually we see a large number of people move from less developed to more developed countries, rural to urban areas in search of better employment, education and health. Just remember, immigrant exit, immigrant incoming. Okay? That is an important concept. What are NRIs? NRIs are people who have left India, so they are an immigrant from India, and whatever country they are in, they would be an immigrant of that country. How to learn long answers of SST? बाद में बताएंगे, अभी चैप्टर कर लेते हैं. Population composition. Now we have seen that we have different population around the world. The composition of the population in terms of sex, age, literacy level, health condition, occupation, income level, right? All of it is different around the world. We can understand this through something very interesting called the population pyramid or the age sex pyramid. बहुत ध्यान से सुनना, बहुत interesting है, right? So this is the population pyramid or the age sex pyramid. Usually we divide the total population into various ages like 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, and then we look at the birth rate and the death rate of females and males in each group. Okay? So before I go into this, the ages between 0 to 14 and 60 and above or 65 and above are usually considered to be dependents, young dependents and elderly dependents, because such groups of people are not contributing to society, they are dependent. And so for example, you guys, right, you are young dependent, sorry, I know you are young dependents, you do not earn a lot of money, like you don't earn any money, and that's why you will be called dependents. People who are in the age of 15 and 60, these are properly, जैसे होता है ना, contributing members of the economy, and that is why they, like the large number of, if there are more number of people in this age group, we will say that the country has the potential to develop more. It is an economically active group of population. ठीक है? What is life expectancy? अरे यार, sorry. Oh. What is life expectancy? Life expectancy मतलब what is the general trend to what age do people live? ठीक है? Now, different countries show different patterns of population pyramid. For example, let us look at Kenya. So Kenya में we can see that the birth rate is very high. है ना? The birth rate is very high. But the death rate is also very high. मतलब the birth rate is high, but very few people are able to even survive till the age of 15, and very few people are able to survive the age of 40. When the pyramid's base is very broad, but the slope is very steep, that means that the birth rate is very high and the death rate is also very high. This happens, for example, in countries like Kenya, where people are giving birth, but they don't have good medical facilities, because of which a large number of children die in their infancy. Very few people actually reach the age of adulthood, and there are very few old people. Right? So someone was asking, ma'am, what will happen if birth rate and death rate is high? So now you know it does happen in countries like Kenya, where you don't have good health facilities. Let's look at the age-sex pyramid of India. India has a very good age-sex pyramid because we have a good birth rate, it's high, but death rate is low. People are able to survive to age of 50 and 60. है ना? And we have a large number. You can see that this people between the age of 65 and 15 is huge. So we have a very large young population. Right? That means that we have a strong and expanding labor force. Okay? Alright, let's look at countries like Japan, where the birth rate is very low, but the death rate is also very low. Now I know there are some chatur bacche in my class. I will use this word chatur from Harsh Priyam sir. I have copied it. So very chatur people in our class who will say, ma'am, how is it that birth rate is low, but suddenly between this age you have large number of population? Like suddenly aliens or God is bringing these people. Kya? No, because you have forgotten. Migration is also a factor for population change. है ना? So Japan, because it's a developed country, sometimes in certain age groups, large number of people enter Japan. So that is why the population of that age group is more. Okay? But anyways, in countries like Japan, birth rate is low, probably because it is very expensive to have a child there. People don't want to have children, whatever the reason is. But because of good health facilities, a large number of people are able to reach the old age. Right? They have a skilled, spirited and hopeful young people that will lead the country. But at one point, this entire young population will grow old. But there will be very little young population after that because birth rate is low. So a lot of countries are actually facing this problem. Right? The birth rate in Britain also is very low. But because people don't want to have children, right? But at one point, everyone will grow old and we will not, like they will not have younger population to take over the economy. ठीक है? इंग्लिश में बोलती हूँ तो हिंदी में बोलो, हिंदी में बोलती हूँ तो इंग्लिश में बोलो, है ना? हर तरीके के कमेंट्स आते हैं मुझे, क्या ही बोलूँ है? जल्दी से समझा देती हूँ. जापान में प्रॉब्लम है कि बर्थ रेट बहुत लो है. इसका मतलब लोग जो है बच्चे पैदा नहीं करना चाहते. क्यों नहीं करना चाहते? जिंदगी जीना है उनको अपना, है ना? बच्चे दिमाग खराब करते हैं सबका. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. इट्स जस्ट दैट कुछ कंट्रीज में लोग जो है बच्चे पैदा करने को समझते कि बहुत पैसा खर्च हो जाता है वगैरह वगैरह, तो बच्चे कम पैदा हो रहे हैं पर लोग भी कम मर रहे हैं क्योंकि मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज इतनी अच्छी आ गई है. तो किसी को भी कोई हार्ट अटैक भी आता है तो मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज बचा लेती है. तो डेथ रेट भी लो है ना। तो इसीलिए जापान जैसे कंट्रीज में बर्थ रेट लो है तो पिरामिड यहाँ नैरो है और डेथ रेट भी लो है। पर इससे प्रॉब्लम क्या होगी, जो ज्यादातर अभी जो लोग यंग है जब वो बुढ़े होंगे तो इकोनॉमी में यंगर पॉपुलेशन बहुत कम होगी क्योंकि बर्थ रेट कम है। समझ आ गई? हाँ चलो हिंदी में भी समझा दिया। सो लेट अस गो टू द वीक क्विज. Let's quickly go to www.vquiz.in, put in the code 227843 and start with the session. 227843. What is PKVY? Vikas Yojana. It's a skill development. It's a skill development scheme. Why am I forgetting the full form? You tell me, right? It's a skill development in order to improve the skill of people. What is death rate is less than birth rate? I told you if death rate is less than birth rate, population will increase. If birth rate is less than death rate, मतलब less than क्या होता है? More than बोलो ना, confuse क्यों कर रहे हो? If birth rate is more than death rate, then population will increase. If birth rate is less than death rate, then population will decrease. ठीक है, चलो जल्दी से आ जाओ गाइस, जल्दी से आ जाओ. 227843. हाँ, प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना. All right, so let us begin. Can we start? Is everyone ready? है ना. पर शुरू करने से पहले गाइस जल्दी से थम्स अप दे दो. क्विकली बता दो कितने थम्स अप है. एटलीस्ट 28 पीपल वाचिंग, सो आई वांट 28 थम्स अप, है ना. जब तक वो नहीं होता मैं शुरू नहीं करूंगी वीक क्विज को. आई एम वेटिंग. हाय दिया. कौन से किस पर ज्वाइन करना है? www.vquiz.in. उसमें कोड आएगा, कोड में डालो 227843 एंड शुरू कर सकते हो. चलो थम्स अप दे दो, जल्दी से थम्स अप दे दो. 227843 ऊपर लिखा तो है, कोड रॉन्ग कैसे हो सकता है? या फिर नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में लिंक है, उसको दबा दो. When was Human Resource Development Ministry formed in India at the central level government? ये था नहीं अभी जो मैंने पढ़ा है उसमें, बट बता दो कि Human Resource Ministry Development क्या MHRD Ministry of Human Resource Development जो है कब फॉर्म हुआ था? It was started in 1985. 2004 तो बहुत लेट बोल दिया गाइज. 1985 आई थिंक. सिर्फ 2 लोग क्यों है जब 14 लोग हैं क्लास में इसमें? तो बर्थ रेट इज ऑल्सो लेस, डेथ रेट इज ऑल्सो लेस. अभी तो बताया मैंने जापान में ऐसा ही है, बर्थ रेट कम है, डेथ रेट कम है ना. चलो, more than 90% of the population lives in about dash of the land surface. More than 90% of the population lives on 30% of the land surface. Next question. The average density of the world population is, average density क्या है? 1 किलोमीटर के एक स्क्वायर में कितने लोग रहते हैं? Week is not coming. Sutan, why? You signed in? No. All right, let's see. It is 51 people per square kilometer. Right now we have Ankit, Mamina and Kritika who have answered correctly. So sweet, Jyoti. Thank you. The highest density of the population in the world is in, कहाँ पर है सबसे ज्यादा population? Week quiz में error है ना? Even I think there's an error because I can see so many people here but I can't see your names on the leaderboard. ऐसा क्यों है? How come? Only 5 people have answered while 12 people are here. Not coming. I think there is an error. It's okay guys, जो लोग join कर पा रहे हैं कर लो, बाकी you guys can give me the answer in the chat box. I will find out after the class. क्या problem है? रियल प्रोडक्शन बता तो दिया, जापान में ऐसा होता है. So population is steady, it does not increase. But the problem is that, you know, they will not have a young population after a few years. Which of the following is the region where mostly people live? Plain area. Why will people live in high altitude areas? Guys, I know the site is not loading. There is some problem going on. पता नहीं क्या. Movement of people in and out of an area is called. It's okay, Sandeepan. Guys, what is the answer? Tell me in the chat box. Migration, death rate or growth rate? तभी बताऊंगी मैं, रिजल्ट तभी दिखाऊंगी जब थम्स अप आ जाएंगे. जल्दी से थम्स अप दे दो गाइस. थम्स अप का ऑप्शन वहीं पर है. Quickly click on thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, do not forget to subscribe. And let's look at the final leaderboard of the day. I'm sorry guys, पता नहीं, I know that lots of you joined, but not all of you were able to do the quiz, and maybe कुछ technical issue है. I will check it out. नहीं तो after the session, please make sure that you attempt the quiz. ठीक है? The first prize goes to Ankit. Then you have Kritika and Anshul. Good job guys, good job all of you. Migration is absolutely correct. Chalo, now that was the final chapter of geography. Quickly, let's go over your homework questions. Question number 1, land covers about -% of total Earth surface. Country whose population growth declined due to low birth rate and death rate. इसका कोई example दो. And that's it. Do not forget to also follow me on my Instagram channel surabhi.vedantu. That is it for the day. I hope you liked today's session and तुमको समझ आया पूरा चैप्टर. बहुत ही आसान था गाइस, बहुत ही इजी चैप्टर है. जो 8 सेक्स पिरामिड है उसको ध्यान से देखना, क्योंकि एग्जाम में you will get the pyramid and you will be asked to identify the country जो जिसका pyramid है and questions on that. ठीक है? So that is an important part of the chapter. So bye-bye. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to give a thumbs up, comment your homework answers below and subscribe to the channel.